As-Salamu Alaikum. As-Salamu Alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you everyone. Welcome to Islamic Learning with Masjid As-Sabur. I am your co-host Adrian Jasper, filling in for our Imam Hazem Rashid, who is on hiatus. And Masjid As-Sabur is located at 4926 15th Avenue here in Sacramento off Stockton Boulevard. We have a brand new building. It's beautiful. Come visit us. Our Juma prayer services are every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Everybody's welcome to come out and learn and meet the community and get some information. And our website, visit our website at www.masjidassabur.org. So, today we are going to continue a discussion that we had last month with a couple of sisters from our community. We're just sharing verses from the Quran that personally, we're just taking verses from the Quran and just sharing how we personally relate to them and reflect on them in our own personal lives, in our own ways. You know, we're all different people. We have different paths, so we can read a verse and it can strike us, each a different chord in us, according to where we're at the time, what we've been through, what we see, what we know, what we understand, and
what we need.
Yes, what we need. So. Just you're gonna be privy to our conversation like last time, and so this is so just welcome to the welcome to our neighborhood,
to our living room.
Welcome to our neighborhood, like Mr. Rogers. Won't you be our neighbor? So introduce yourself.
Nailah El-Amin.
Zarinah El-Amin.
And again, I am Adrian Jasper. So let's start with a verse. What we did for this week, we took a verse that we were trying to take a verse that we could reflect on, and not only just reflect on, but like live, like practice or implement in our for the week. So when I was picking out a verse, this verse popped in my head. It's Surah 61 verse 2, and it reads, "O ye who believe, why say ye that which ye do not?" And it literally popped in my head. Like I was thinking, okay, what verse should we focus on? And that, like 2 seconds later, it popped in my head, and I was just like embarrassed because it's like I had people that I said I was going to do something for, and I hadn't done it yet. So I'm like, oh, I got called on it. So all week I've just been conscious of, okay, I said I was going to do such and such. Let me follow up and make sure that I do it. So I've been more conscious of not just saying, okay, yeah, I'll do whatever, and not doing it. So,
is it 61 1 or 61 2?
61 2.
Because she said 62 2 at first.
Yeah, first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this one for me. When you sent it to me and I started to reflect on it, I didn't have an instance like you had in terms of being able to identify something where I had not followed through or had said something and not completed it or something like that. So I'm still working on that because I'm sure there's stuff in there, so I'm still reflecting on it. But this wasn't the one that I was initially reflecting on. But since then, it reminded me of a verse that we talked about last time in terms of, I don't remember which one it was, but it had to do with a good word being like a goodly tree. And so when I was reflecting on it, really what I was getting a lot of was how important words are, just the significance of words. And Allah created us with to be different from other creatures, other species, and in particular He gave us speech. And that's something that no other creation has, in the way that we can use speech. And parrots and things like that can mimic, but we have speech, and he creates with the word, and so I just thought, so that's where I've been. I've just been kind of just thinking about that, and just what we say and how we say it it's not a light matter. When we say something, when we speak something, not only are we obligated to follow through, but there's power in it. There's power, there's weight. I don't think we fully understand the power of speech. So that's where I've been reflecting. I still reflecting on it, and we'll do a whole lot more reflecting on it. But that's where I've been with this particular ayat since she sent it.
And just a footnote. When I was 6 years old, one of my uncles, he said, "I'm gonna get you a swing set." I'm like, "Yeah, you gotta get me a swing set." So years went by, and I'm waiting for this swing set, and he just said it in jest. Never got it, and to this day, I'm like, he never got me that swing set. So yes,
They're heavy.
Yes.
Yeah. That's important.
So if you're watching, Uncle,
I want my swing set. And to this day, I will go to the park and get on the swing with my big self. And children are looking at me like, what are you doing?
my turn.
But yes.
Right.
So, okay, Sister Zarinah?
What it didn't resonate with me as you said it did with you, but what I thought about was that not only what we say even to ourselves, to things that we say we're going to do, and in order, when we may have a project, which I have one now, that I need to be diligently working on every day. And I've said a couple of times I'm going to work on this every day, and then I'll work on it a few days, and then I'll allow other things to take priority. And so that's what I sort of start thinking about is, not only should we be true to our word to others, and to our Lord, and to but also to ourselves, that there's a lot of things that we need to a lot of times work on and to get better at. And so just, being conscious of what we're saying to ourselves, and what we're saying to other people, making promises, to people, and unless we know for sure we can fulfill that promise, I think, I hear Imams often say that we use inshallah, if God willing, and to say we're going to do something when oftentimes we have no intent. Well, sometimes we don't really have an intention to do it. We just say that in order to appease the person that we're talking to say that we're going to make an effort, when sometimes we're not really seriously going to make that effort. So yes, I that's what came to me more to me as well, was that we all we have to be careful what we even say to ourselves, because of course Allah is everywhere, and He hears what we're saying to ourselves. And some things has to do with being in better health, and we're responsible for our bodies that He gave us, and so forth and so.
Yeah, that's a good point. Making promises to yourself is important, because you're going to influence other people. So when you're better, and for yourself,
right,
you're better for other people. So somebody else may be depending on you to fulfill your promise to yourself,
right,
so that they can benefit from it. So.
That's true.
Yeah, good point. Okay. Next verse is Surah 25, verse 63, which reads, "And the servants of God, most gracious, are those who walk on the earth in humility, and when the ignorant address them, they say peace." Sister Zarinah, what do you think when you hear that?
Okay, well, I think of people that sometimes don't really have knowledge of the religion, and you're having a discussion with them, and you'll have some people that can be sort of belligerent, or can get angry, or want to maybe create an argument with you in regards to what you're saying, and being able to, accept where they are and be able to move past it, to say, to you be your way and to be mine, and accept, and not to try to debate, because, we're told to argue in the best of manner, to debate with someone in the best way. And so some people will, and then being Muslim, we have ignorant people out there that just, we have some sisters that wear the niqab, and I've heard some of them say people tell them go back to to Saudi Arabia or something to that effect, or they can be ridiculed for covering their faces, and in that situation you have to be very humble and be able to just walk past that and not allow it to affect you. So just being able to allow people to be where they are. I heard something recently that said that every spiritual journey is perfect, and it really, made me think about the fact that everyone is on some type of spiritual journey, even though they may not know it themselves. They may be ignorant to that fact, but they're on a journey, and so we just have to respect people where they are, as much as they can say hurting things. And we have to take an example from our prophet, that he, people did all kinds of things to him, and he would not retaliate, until the time was appropriate for him to do that. So I think we have to take example from him.
Right. Sister Nailah?
Sister Nailah, can you read it one more time? I mean, I remember it, but there's something in it and I want to...
And the servants of God most gracious of those And the servants of God most gracious are those who walk on the earth in humility. And when the ignorant address them, they say peace.
Okay, so when I was reflecting on that one of the things that came up for me is what does it mean to be humble and to go through life in a state of humility. And so I started to reflect on that and to reflect on what that looks like, what that feels like, right? So when I thought about it in my life, so being humble means that you don't overly assert yourself. You take you take a I don't want to use this word, but I am. You take a subservient position. So when you're in a discussion and I feel like I'm right, or I know in every cell of my body that I'm right, that to be humble and to act in a way of humility is to consider the fact that perhaps you're not, and to understand that even though it may seem that way, and even though you may even be right. The gracious ones are those who take a humble position. And so for me, I started to think about the comparison between what's the contrast. The contrast would be arrogant. And so I don't really think of myself as being an arrogant person, but am I a humble person? So I'm somewhere along that continuum. It's what I started to think. I'm not where I want to be, where I need to be. I'm not where that ayat, what Allah describes in that ayat, in terms of being able to take a position of humbleness. Not so much in wanting, in a sense of boasting or anything like that, but kind of more like in the sense of, I guess, what was I thinking? More or less in the sense of needing to get my point across, or needing to be heard, and I need to, and so for me, and I'm incorporating it or trying to incorporate it in my life, is being okay with not being heard in every situation. And when I have the opportunity to say what I need to say, and let it, whatever someone takes from it, that's what they take from it, and be okay with that. And so that's how I'm living with that. It's trying to just be okay with not being able to influence someone else's perspective on something, whether it be at work, in my personal life, whatever. But to be able to share it, say it, and to accept what that looks like in the aftermath. So that's kind of where I was with that one.
Okay. When I look at, reflect on that verse, I like the fact that God tells us what to say in that instance. He just says, just say peace. Because sometimes you forget, you're trying to, come up with something heavy or a rebuttal. He just said, just say peace. And I'm like, okay, that was easy. So he's telling us what to say in that instance. So I thought that was like he gave us a flash, a cue card. Gave us a cue card, so when you're out and about and somebody says something ignorant to you, pull up that cue card. Peace. I'm not even gonna get into it. So, and it just like, wow, thanks. So that makes me think of that.
That's good.
Okay, so let's look at this verse.
You're funny. Okay, go ahead. Just imagine. Okay.
A divine cue.
A cue card just floating through space. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Surah 3 verse 35 reads, "Behold, a woman of Imran said, O my Lord, I do dedicate unto thee what is in my womb for thy special service. So accept this of me, for thou hearest and knowest all things." When she was delivered, she said, O my Lord, behold, I am delivered a female child, and God knew best what she brought forth, and no wise is the male like the female. I have named her Mary, and I commend her and her offspring to thy protection from the evil one, the rejected. And this verse, I'll start. What I found impressive about this verse is that you have the mother of Mary, and she was pregnant with Mary. She prayed for not only Mary, but she prayed for her unborn grandchild, Christ Jesus. So when I reflect on that, it just reminds me of how my mother prayed for me, and it reminds me to pray for my daughter and her unborn. So I think of that. How she prayed for not only Mary, but Mary's unborn. Yeah. So and she prayed that her daughter would be, godly and of service to God. And so it's just a reminder of how to pray for your child. Pray that he protects him, and then they follow that they be of service to God.
Yeah.
So that's what this verse stuck out to me. That's what I got from it.
For me, it kind of goes back to the word, the power of the word. And she prayed, she made a statement, and in her sincerity and in her pureness, Allah granted that to her in such a magnificent way. It also speaks to the power of intentions. She intended for her child to be someone special and someone dedicated to the service of God. And that's what she is. That's what she was. And that's what her child was. I mean, one of the greatest prophets to ever live, And so I thought that was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome in terms of just the word and the power of intention and the power of our words.
For me, it was, when she prayed, and she was praying for her child to be of service to God, but the way she responded implies to me that she was thinking it would be a male child, and just just how, you know, throughout the ages, women have not been always lifted to a certain status. It was, you know, it was always like the male would need to be the one that would be a servant to God. And you know, to me, Allah always does things to sort of make a point, you know, because she was born, she was a female, and she was like, oh, you know, it's a female, and you know, and you know, and it says that, you know, of course, God knows best. He knew that this female was just going to be as much a servant of God as a male would have been a servant to God. And then this female had the male that became the prophet of God, you know. So it's, you know, it was just like how, you know, our thinking sometimes, and, you know, sometimes we ask for things and Allah gives it to us and it comes in a different package and we be like, that's not what I asked for, you know. But to remember that He knows best, you know.
Yeah.
He knows what we need and He knows what's going to come from that. So that's what I got from that one.
And the line, I am, and no wise is the male like the female.
Yeah,
So
right.
that,
Yes.
you know, so there's some other wit.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're both important.
Right.
They're not the same.
Right.
They're not the same, and that we all have a not only a responsibility, but we're all capable of serving God, and
Right.
regardless of our gender and who we are. But and we each have a role. You know, we each have a specific role, and it may look different depending on who the person is.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and then being a woman, you know, sometimes we can share a message in a way, but with a softness and a finesse that may not come across from a man. You know, that you know, sometimes, you know, it takes a woman to deliver something with a softness that can reach somebody, you know, because it's of the tone and the, you know, that gentleness, you know, that comes from the woman spirit. So. You know. So yeah. Okay, and so that reminds me of my mom. When I was in my mid-20s, early mid-20s somewhere, and something was going on, you know, and you know, things were kind of rocky. Then all of a sudden things just, you know, smoothed over, and I'm, you know, like, oh, I'm just so special, you know. And then my mom, you know, said, well, you know, I've been praying for you. And then I stopped and I said, oh, that's what happened. You know, that mother's prayer, you know, didn't even know, carried me through, you know. And so it really made me think, like, wow, the power of prayer, you know. And like my mom was praying me through my hard times and I didn't even know it, you know. I'm just thinking, oh, I'm just so special that things, you know, you know, things are just falling my way in spite of my own, you know, shortcomings and idiocracies, idiosyncrasies. I just watched that movie, Idiocracy, so it's in my head. So I wrote a poem for my mom based on this verse called Mama Said a Prayer, and it just, so that's where that poem came from, this verse, and so I have a personal connect. I'm very attached to this verse. You know, my mom, that just kicked it, like, wow, that's the power of prayer from, you know, praying mom. So it reminds me, pray for my daughter, pray her through her, you know, her trials and tribulations, and she's a young lady too. So, okay.
So I've just been told by my children, some of them that have been in some very serious situations where they have said that they know that it was my prayer that got them through it, because it was a situation that they didn't see themselves coming out of.
Wow.
You know, so prayer is powerful.
So so reminder to all of our viewers, pray for your children, pray for your daughters, your sons, your loved ones, pray.
Right.
So, Thank you for watching. Again, Masjid As-Sabur is located at 4926 15th Avenue. And our website, www.masjidassabur.org. Fridays at 1:30 p.m. we have religious services, Jumu'ah services, 1:30. Everybody's welcome. So thank you again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our show. I hope it was informative. And God bless. Assalamu alaikum.
As-salamu alaykum.
I want to remind everyone, Masjid As-Sabur, 4926 15th Avenue. Our new masjid is gorgeous. We just finished planting over 100 plants in front of the masjid. We just got through cleaning up the kitchen and getting ready to clean up all of the wudu stations. And we want you to come and join us. Every Friday, 1:30 p.m., Masjid As-Sabur, Sacramento. We are also on the web, www.masjidassabur.org. And we're on Facebook, so please like us. Again, we thank you for your patience and your time. We want to remind you that God truly has a message for you. And we want to remind you that we are here to give you any help that you may need. As God has taught us, He is a merciful God. As long as you come to Him and ask forgiveness, He will forgive you. So no matter where you are in life, there is a hope for change.